All right, y'all, welcome to one of my favorite happy places. Being out in the forest, out in the woods, in nature. We're going into that season, or we're in that season now, where Earth is starting to come alive. And this is a golden opportunity of sorts, not just for me personally, but for all of us who are exposed to this kind of blossoming of nature. But in any case, big shout out to everybody who's been following me on Tribe by Noir, those of you who've been tuning in consistently on a weekly basis, soaking in the information, making the life changes you need to make. For those of you who are new, this is Tribe by Noir. I am Remsen Noir, head coach at Tribe by Noir. And everything that I do here, everything that I discuss, is all about deploying nutrition, training, and mindset techniques and strategies in order to achieve peak health, to live the life you really truly want to live and be in the body that allows you to do that. Whatever reaching peak health looks like for you. I'm here to provide the support and everything that I've learned in order to help you get there. This is what this is all about. I wanted to take some time out real quick to let y'all know that Tribe by Noir 3.0 has launched. This is the latest iteration with all the improvements, taking things on the platform to the next level. Not only do I provide training, diet plans, coaching calls, one-on-one coaching support, group coaching support, and all that, but I'm also offering community. Now, I do live streams for the public on a weekly basis, but that's not the only one. I also do member exclusive live streams. We go over meal planning. We get deep into training technique, how to maximize your training to get the goals that you want, right? We get pretty granular in those kind of streams. And it's a live call-in, right? So you can get on the voice chat, ask questions. We do a Q&A and all of that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of support and camaraderie and valuable information that you can use from day one. So if that's something that you're interested in getting into, you want to take it to the next level, you want to get deeper into Tribe by Noir, well, I left a link in the description of this video for you to go and tap in and get started. Now, you can sign up and become a community member, you can sign up for coaching, and you can sign up for coaching with your own personal diet and training plans, as well as weekly one-on-one coaching calls with me personally. All right, so definitely take some time to check that out. And moving forward, we're going to get into the upcoming live stream. All right, y'all, welcome to Monday Night Raw. And you know how we do every Monday night, well, almost every Monday night. Y'all join me in the kitchen. We do some meal planning or some meal prep, this type of thing, and talk about different nutrition strategies, training strategies, recipes, things like this, right? So I got a few things to prep today, and I'm gonna get into the grocery haul, right? And basically the whole layout of a few things, right? And I'm going to start with MMB, right? So on the fruitarian diet, the biggest volumes of food, the biggest energy sources of food throughout the day, particularly in the earlier half of the day, early morning or morning, early afternoon, this type of thing, is going to be MMB, right? Mangoes, melons, and bananas, right? These are going to be your most energy-rich foods that you can really eat in the most volume, and they're the easiest on your gut, right? So basically, I got like a few pounds of bananas in here. Matter of fact, let me pick this up and show y'all here. By the way, put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me clearly. All right. So basically, I try to keep this full with the bananas. All right, so we got a lot of those there. All right, and they're easy to get organic. They're pretty cheap to get organic. And then the melon and the mangoes, right? So these are what's left of the mangoes here, right? So basically I keep these out, and I like to keep them out. I don't like to have them hidden away because, out of sight and out of mind. So a good dietary strategy is having your diet in your field of view. It's very easy to stay on track with your diet when it's out in the open where you can see it. If it's hidden away, it's out of sight, out of mind, this kind of thing, right? So, and then of course I got all the melons, right? So I got a couple cantaloupes here, right? I got a couple honeydews. These are fairly heavy. So I got these ready to go, right? So I got my cantaloupes, I got my honeydew. I got 2 for 2. So 2 honeydews and 2 cantaloupes. I think one of the honeydews is ripe, it's ready to go, but the cantaloupes not so much. And then we got the watermelon, which I'm gonna cut into tonight because this thing sounds good. All right, it sounds like a beautiful drum. All right, so when I knock on it, when I tap on it, right, it's got that, it's got some, it sounds a little hollow, right? So it's got like boom, 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 that deep sound, right? And then that yellow spot, you see that beautiful yellow spot? It looks less yellow on camera. It's a lot more yellow actually. All right, so this is pretty good to go. And you can kind of press into the melon a little bit, right? So that's ready. All right, so we're gonna cut into that. But before I cut into that, I'm gonna put on some rice. All right, let me wash some of this dirt off the cutting board that I just got on the watermelon. Got some dirt from the watermelon, some earth. All right. So basically, and people ask me, they say, hey, I want to gain weight on a fruitarian diet. How do I do that? It's actually pretty easy, right? So for example, let's say you did like 36 ounces or 40 ounces of watermelon. And so this will give you in between like around 360 something calories, something like this, maybe even like 400 if you do like the whole 40 ounces. And that'll give you like around 80 something grams of carbs. And then you can have like an ounce of like, let's say pumpkin seed kernels or sunflower seed kernels or Brazil nuts, right? And that'll give you like a quick 500 something calories, okay? And believe it or not, between the watermelon and the sunflower seed kernels, that's like around 16 grams of protein, okay? So 16 grams of protein, it's like around 90 grams of carbs. And if you do like pumpkin seed kernels or sunflower seed kernels, that'll be like around 16 to 18 grams of fat. Real easy right out the gate. And then if you do like some mango, depending on how you're doing, mango's like a good calorie source, right? So if you can do mangoes also, well, actually, no, I wouldn't do mangoes right after the melon. I would do the melon to hydrate in the morning because you kind of wake up a little dehydrated in the morning, right? Because you haven't drank anything all night. And you wake up and you urinate, so you release even more water. So you refill on your water in the morning with the melon. And then let's say you do a workout or something like that, or you walk some miles in the morning, you do your daily mobility stuff and whatnot, and you have your bananas afterwards. And like, it's really easy. So for example, this is like around, let me see, this is a little, well, yeah, this is 4 bananas. So this is like around 100 grams of carbs right here. So 4 bananas, typically a banana is like around 4 ounces. It's like around 4 to 6 ounces, something like this. But if you do, let's say it's 4, 8, 12, 16 ounces is like 100 grams of carbs, 5 grams of protein, right? And that's like around, like 320 grams, 320 calories or something. Well, actually, no, it's like 400 something calories because 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories. So if it's 100 grams of protein, it's 400 calories, right? And then you add on the calories from the protein. So if it's like 5 or 6 grams of protein from the pound of bananas, 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. So basically that's going to be what? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. It's like 420 calories. And like maybe 1 gram of fat or something like this. So maybe 429 calories or something like this. I don't really talk about calories much. I don't really focus on calories much. I'm more so focused on the macros, how many carbs, fats, and proteins you eat, right? That's just like an easier way for me to talk about things, especially when I'm meal planning and things like that. So basically, and then if with the bananas, if you do like an ounce of walnuts or you do an ounce of cashews or something like that, or even like an ounce of almonds, between the 36 to 40 ounces of watermelon with the ounce of sunflower seed or pumpkin seed kernels or Brazil nuts, and then the pound of bananas with the ounce of nuts, that right there will give you a little over 1,000 calories right there just within those 2 meals. Okay. And then you can do the mangoes later on in the day, right? Or you can do grapes. I actually have a lot of grapes that I got to sort out. I got a few pounds of grapes. So if you do, and matter of fact, let me check this because I can actually go on Chronometer. I just want to check right quick. 24 ounces of grapes, I think it's like 100 grams of carbs. So if I do Chronometer right quick, let me see. And I can pull this up for y'all if y'all want to see. I don't know if y'all will be able to see my screen for those of you who are watching on mobile, but let me get into this a little bit. Let me share. Can I share this? Yeah, I can. Okay, cool. So basically what I was talking about with the watermelon. Oh, matter of fact, let me make sure it's up. All right, bam. Okay, so let me zoom that in. All right, so we got here, and I just wanted to demonstrate this because somebody asked me about this. I wanted to cover a couple things today. So watermelon, if we do, let's say 36 ounces of watermelon is 306 calories, 77 grams of carbs. Let's up it a little bit. Let's say 40 ounces. So 40 ounces of watermelon, and then let's say we do sunflower seed kernels. I'm a big fan of the sunflower seed kernels because they're a very rich source of vitamin E. Right? They got a good nutrient profile. So that's 505 calories. So if we do the bananas, all right. So I'm gonna just map this out right quick here. 16 ounces of bananas. And then let's say we did, what did I say, cashews or almonds? I said something like that. If you wanted to get more protein in, you'd probably go for more almonds. Almonds also a good vitamin E rich food as well. So in between these, this is 1,074 calories, 21 grams of protein, 202 grams of carbs, and 32 grams of fat, right? And then you can see here, we already hit vitamin B5, B6, vitamin C, vitamin E. We hit copper and manganese, right? So not bad within those 2 meals there, okay? So basically within those 2 meals, that's all ready, and that's just fruit, right? And then if we were to get into, let's say, mangoes, right? Because I said MMB. So let's say we do mango. And for the mango, let's say we did 20 ounces of mango. We're not gonna add nuts to that. Okay, because this is more like a primer before the last meal. So that's 1,414 calories. So now this brings us up to 287 grams of carbs, 34 grams of fat, and 26 grams of protein. Right? And so now we've hit our phosphorus and we hit our potassium goal for the day. All right. And basically from here now, if you wanted to hit, let's say 2,500 calories for the day, you would just add 1,000 calories to this. So let's say we do a final meal and we do, let's say we did chickpeas. And then for chickpeas, we did, let's see. Yeah, so we'll do 9 ounces of chickpeas. And then let's say we did quinoa. And we'll just measure it dry. Okay. If y'all wanted to measure it cooked, you could. It just depends. Like if you want to batch cook the quinoa, actually. So let's say we batch cook the quinoa. We pre-prepped it. And so we want to factor in how many ounces. So let's say we did 8 ounces of quinoa. So now that brings us up to 2,105 calories, 405 grams of carbs, 45 grams of protein, and basically 45 grams of fat and 58.9, so basically 59 grams of protein. All right. And this basically, all we do is we top this off. Let's say if you wanted to add, let's say we add some extra firm tofu. Okay, for those of you concerned with getting extra protein in. So we did extra firm tofu, and then we do, let's say we did 6 ounces of tofu, okay? Actually, yeah, because tofu, let's say we just do a solid 8, so half the pack. Because usually a pack of tofu is what, in between 14, 16 ounces? So let's say we did 8 ounces of extra firm tofu. So that gives us 2,345 calories, and now we're up to 82.9, so basically 83 grams of protein. Carbs are 414 grams, fat's 57. And now we'll add some greens to this. So we'll do some kale. And let's say for the kale, we'll massage it up and we'll add in, let's say we add in 5 ounces. And you can really crush that up a bit. 5 ounces, so that's 2,394 calories, 87 grams of protein. And then what else could we add to this? Let's say we added some bell pepper. Oops, I misspelled it. Bell pepper. And we'll add in, for the bell pepper, let's say we add in, not too much. Let's say we do 2 ounces. We don't need to go too crazy. And then we'll add in some red onion. So let's do that, and we'll add an ounce of red onion. All right, so now we're up to 2,421. And now let's add some nutritional yeast. All right, so nutritional yeast for some flavoring and some extra B12, 2,451 calories. All right, so now basically for here, we've got in 4 meals out of the day. So let's say the first meal you had at, let's say 9 a.m. The second meal you had like around 12, maybe 1 o'clock. The mangoes you could have like around 3. And then this final meal around here, we had at 5. And then let's say you wanted to have a bedtime snack. So if we did a bedtime snack, let's throw in the grapes before bed, all right? Get a little hydration, cleansing of the palate going with the grapes. And let's say we added in like a quick 8 ounces of grapes, and boom. So that brings us to 2,618 calories. And if you would try to gain weight, I was asked this by a woman, right, who said she wanted to gain weight. So if you're a woman trying to gain weight, 2,618, I think she said she needed, right? So if you're tuning in tonight, I'm just thoroughly addressing the question you had before. So this is not bad, 94 grams of protein. So this basically you're well above that 1 gram per kilogram of lean mass, right? You're towards the upper range of that. Carbs, we're at 470 grams, and then fats at 59 grams, basically, right? So eating in abundance, you could really pack in the resistance training and everything like that, live an active lifestyle, and this would cover you. And if you look at this here, we pretty much hit all the numbers, and the vitamin D would be covered by sun exposure. Omega-3 essential fatty acids, we're a little short on that. I'll show you how to make that up. And selenium, we're kind of short on that, but that not really, because this is geared towards me. This is my Chronometer account. So this is more so geared towards me. So if you wanted to be more of a stickler and get that extra omega-3 essential fatty acids, what you could do is you can add a tablespoon of chia seeds in here somewhere into this meal in the bottom. All right. And that's it, real quick. And that is a fruitarian style diet, because look at this. Meals 1, 2, 3, and then at bedtime before bed, it's mostly fruit. So when I say a fruitarian diet, this is what I'm referring to. All right, so that's like what a fruitarian style diet would look like. Now you'll have some fruitarians where they're like, I don't eat anything unless it's a fruit. It's like, oh, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. I'm a foodie. I like diversity in food. I like to hit all the different food groups that are beneficial to my health. So if it falls within my goals and my ethical framework, then yeah, it's going to be on the plate, right? But a fruitarian diet essentially is a diet that is dominant in fruit, where the majority food group is fruit, right? So you see in that diet plan, most of the food intake actually comes from fruit. So that's what I mean by a fruitarian diet. And I keep repeating as I feel the need to say this, because people think fruitarian and it sounds really extreme to them. I'm like, actually, it's not really that extreme. Now you may say, well, nearly 500 grams of carbs. Well, isn't that a lot? Well, not particularly, no. And the reason why is carbohydrates is the best form of energy you can get. It's the primary form of energy, right? Because your body's energy system runs on sugar. It runs on glucose. So in order to generate energy for your brain, glucose. Nervous system, glucose. Heart, glucose. Pancreas, glucose. All of the organs and organelles in your body function on glucose as the primary source of energy, okay? A deficit in glucose leads to increased adrenal output in order to compensate for the lack of available glucose that you're getting from your diet. So when you add in carbohydrates, along with a lot of water and fiber and things like that, that drives down ghrelin, increases leptin, so your diet is more satiating, it curbs hunger cravings, keeps the muscle full, and optimizes hormonal output and reduces stress. Get better sleep at night and all of this kind of stuff, right? So basically, it's just the ideal form of energy. So fat is more of like an auxiliary energy that you just want to eat just enough in order to be able to have like your substrate for your hormones, right? So you need fats for like hormone synthesis and things like that. Vitamin E absorption, vitamin A absorption, vitamin D synthesis, this type of things, right? So your vitamin A, E, D, and K, you do need fats for that, right? EPA and DHA balance in the brain, well, you need fats for that. You don't need a lot, right? But you just need like enough. So that's going to be anywhere between 0.5 and 1 gram of fat per kilogram of lean mass. Okay. But if you're trying to gain weight, well, the best way to do that is the carbohydrates, because it fills you out. So especially if you're trying to gain weight, well, the only healthy way to gain weight really is by getting hydrated and building muscle mass. If you're not increasing hydration and building muscle mass, whatever weight you gain is basically just going to be fat. Right? And a little bit of fat gain is not really a problem at all. It could be beneficial, but if it's outpacing your lean mass, well, that's a bit of a problem. So if you're gaining your fat mass to lean mass at like a 2-to-1 or a 3-to-1 ratio, this is a problem. Right? So just something to consider there. All right. Let me go ahead and touch base with y'all in the chat here. Okay. We got Miss D tuning in from Raleigh. What's going on? Good to see you in here. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. All right. We got Anishka. What's going on? Tuning in from Mount Vernon, New York. Big shout out to my people out there in New York. We say I also love the vegan meal preps. They might be my favorite genre of video that you do. There you go. I enjoy doing them too. It's my favorite too, because sometimes I don't want to sit down at the desk because I do like coaching calls and stuff throughout the day, right? So I'm doing calls sitting in a chair, doing video chats and things like that with people, coaching calls, consultation calls, things like that. And I'm just dying to get out of the chair. So I like the fact that I'm in my happy place, the kitchen. I'm doing the thing that I like to do, which is anything involving food, right? And then I'm standing. So, it checks all the boxes for me. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tribe by Noir Monday Night Live. What's going on? Absolutely. Miss D repping. What you said, you got your cinnamon tea ready to go? There you go. That's right. Cinnamon tea ready to go. All right. What's going on, Miss Ella? Good to see you in here. That's right. All right. Coach got the dance vibes going today. True. We're going to be on here till 9 p.m. tonight. I'm going to try not to hold y'all too long. I don't want to get too carried away. I don't want to get too carried away. My mama's in the chat. Everybody show much love to my mama in there. She don't want me calling her mama do no more. So she's just mama now. All right. That's right. Let me see. Before I move on with my meal prep and all that, what we got going on here? Oh, what's going on? What's that? Gail Whitley. What's going on? Good to see you in here. It rained all day today at school, so my students and I were stuck inside the whole day. I left school with only 700 steps. Making it up now, just past 8,000. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Get the steps in while tuning into the stream. That's right. I love it. I love it. We're on a journey. We're on the wellness journey together, y'all. We all in this together. That's right. Miss Cammy, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Good evening, everyone. Hit the like button if you're looking forward to this meetup every Monday night. True. That's right. Smash up that like button. That's right. If you're trying to lose weight, should you cut carbs? Actually, no. Generally speaking, I've been doing this a long time. When we increase carbohydrate intake, people feel better, they train better, they sleep better, and drop more body fat. Okay, so yeah, generally speaking, I'm not really in favor of cutting carbs. Let's see. Can you speak to the difference between fat requirements for men versus women? Anna coming through with a good question. That is a good question. Nene, what's going on? Good to see you in here. That's right. So fat requirements for men and women. So yeah, basically it really depends. I mean, if there is a fat requirement difference between men and women, it's probably there's a bit of nuance to this because a lot of it is body recomposition, right? So women don't necessarily need a lot of dietary fats per se, but it more so depends on the type of fats, right? In my experience, when working with a lot of women do better with lower fats and higher carbs, right? If anything, men do better with higher fats. So men actually need more dietary fat than women do. Right. So that's one thing that's very interesting that I noticed per se. Right. As far as like fat sources, predominantly your fat sources should be polyunsaturated and monounsaturated, coming from mainly whole foods like your avocados, nuts and seeds, right? This kind of thing. So that I will say. So yeah, basically women do very well at like 0.5 to 0.75 grams of fat per kilogram of lean mass, but for men who are like not diabetic, for example, do very well with like 1 or even 1.2, right? As women get older and get closer to menopause kind of triggers more insulin resistance. So it would be a better idea to actually reduce your fat intake and increase your carbohydrates, right? So that's one thing that I would say with that. Now, it's also a good idea to do things in cycles. So, if you're a woman and you're like, I feel like I need more fats in my diet because you've gone a really long period of time with really low fats, you shouldn't eliminate all the fats from your diet. generally speaking, when I put together diet plans for women, I don't have them drop like below 45 grams of fat per day. I generally don't recommend that, right? The only time I would recommend that is for somebody who's like diabetic, for example. The rules for diabetics is a bit different because if you're a diabetic, having lower fats and higher carbohydrates and moderate to low protein actually produces much better outcomes. And then as your A1C improves and you're no longer diabetic, you have a fasting blood sugar below 90, like somewhere in the 80s, 88, 86, something like this, you know, and your A1C is like around like a 5.4, 5.2, or even like something as low as like a 4.8. Then yeah, you can add in more fats and things like that, right? And a way to compensate is when you have more of a raw diet, to have like a raw diet that's higher in fat. So you can have like a raw diet where your dietary fats can be upwards of like 20% of your macros, right? So it depends on your goals. It does depend on gender, but not as much as like what your goals are and whatever metabolic condition you have, right? If you're a woman who's very active, you're at a healthy weight, your fats could be higher. If you're struggling to lose weight, you're going through menopause, things like this, when you maybe want your fats to be lower. So with women, it depends on age also. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. All right. The rice. I got to refill my rice too. All right. Let me move this out the way right quick. So I got to show y'all something too, because I'm going to see if I can prep this tonight, if I can get this done. But I got to do I have another container where I can do this with? I need more mason jars. Uh-oh. Oh, times are tough. This is the last mason jar. All right. And this one don't have the measurements on it, so I'm going to have to eyeball it a little bit. So I'm doing a half cup. So basically it's a quarter cup. Heaping. It's heaps. All right, so I got that going there. All right. So I think one thing that actually does help women a lot is having more vitamin E in your diet. So like almonds, walnuts, sunflower seed kernels, and avocado. Those are some of your best sources of fat right there. All right. Let me just say that straight out. And then like your coconut yogurt and chia seeds. Chia seeds is another good one. Flax seeds. Yeah, chia and flax. Like you can do a chia and flax pudding. So you do cacao, cinnamon, sea salt, and like a quarter cup of flax seeds and a quarter cup of hemp seeds or chia seeds. You can do either or. The hemp seeds and the chia seeds, those are also really good sources of fat. So like as a woman, your fat sources too, you definitely want to get more of like your vitamin E stuff. All right. So basically what I do with the rice, I rinse the rice with this in the mason jar with the sprouting lid, excuse me. And I just swoosh it around in there. Just a few times until the water clears up. All right. And then I'm gonna cook this up because I got to make my rice and chickpeas meal. And while I have this rice cooking, I'm gonna cut into this watermelon. All right. And I got some pinto beans too. So I'm gonna use these as the base for the spicy taco. that I'm gonna do. Mason jars are my jam. And I'm gonna put a half teaspoon of sea salt in with the rice, because that sea salt adds a little flavor to the rice that I like. All right. Put this on a really low heat. Everything I cook it on a low heat. And exercise some patience. All right. All right, now let's bring on that watermelon. Let's bring it on. But yeah, so generally I'm not in favor of calorie cutting for weight loss. A much better idea is fasting for weight loss as opposed to just eating less. So that's generally what I err on the side of. Most people trying to lose weight though, their biggest thing is stress management. So before we even get to the fasting, you got to reduce your stress, because fasting is a stressor. All right, man, when you cut into a watermelon, yo, the smell, it smells like, you know how like when it rains outside, when there's like grass, like fresh cut grass outside? Or like if you're in the forest, like or in the woods or something like that, and it just rained, it's that outdoor, like rich, earthy smell. I don't know, I like that smell. I would put that smell in like a bottle and use it as like an air freshener. I particularly like that smell. I don't know, do y'all like that smell? I'm kind of curious. Y'all know what smell I'm talking about when you cut into a watermelon, that rich, earthy smell? I really like that smell. I don't know how the rest of y'all feel like. Y'all may be looking at me like I'm crazy. So yeah, y'all gotta let me know. Am I the only one? This is how I cut. Oh, yeah. That's a banger. That's a banger right there. See, I'm gonna cut this watermelon up in these small pieces. That's typically what I do. All right. So yeah, y'all see what I'm doing? This is like super therapeutic for me too. Do y'all find like cutting watermelon and stuff therapeutic? This is what I find. This right here is my stress management. I mean, you can't really do this with nothing else. Maybe cutting greens, but cutting greens, you know, I don't know if it's the same. Probably close, but not really. This is a little bit more therapeutic. And it's almost like ASMR too, you know? I like the sound. That crisp cut. Let me chill out a little bit. I'll be answering y'all questions and whatnot too, so definitely if y'all want to drop some questions in the chat. I was live Thursday and Saturday this week. I had 2 member exclusive live streams this week. So Saturday was like a live meal planning. I was in the kitchen prepping up on Saturday, and you know, we was chopping it up with the tribe members. You know what I'm saying? And just having like have a chill chat with each other. And we're just meal prepping and doing our thing and talking about our successes and our progress and whatnot. This is like Tribe by Noir is like really fulfilling for me, because like I get to hear and be a part of so many different successes You know what I mean? Like it's a beautiful thing to like put together a plan for somebody and really support and help somebody. And then to hear the excitement in their voice when they're like getting all this success and progress. It's a beautiful thing. I've had people where they're like, hey, my blood pressure is normal for the first time in my adult life. I'm finally losing weight. My doctor gave me the green light to come off this medication. I'm finally getting a full night's rest. I've lost 3 inches off my waist. Finally, I'm waking up with morning wood. I'm building muscle. I feel stronger. I have more self-confidence. You know what I mean? I was able to shrink my prostate and get it to normal. It's beautiful, I just had somebody too. They were like, I thought I was going to have to get my thyroid removed. I no longer need to get my thyroid removed. My doctor was telling me I'm going to have to get a hysterectomy. And now finally, like, I don't have to get a hysterectomy. I get to keep my uterus and my ovaries and get off these medications. Like that type of stuff, man. I wait till I get off the call, I start crying. I get little tears. And you know me, I got like a little bit of that toxic masculinity, right? So I try to suck it up. I do this here. I try to lean back. You know what I mean? Because boys don't cry. But yeah, y'all be getting me emotional. So yeah, like I'm saying, well, y'all share y'all successes with me and whatnot. Y'all drop them, y'all successes in the Discord or in the tribe community chat and all of that. I'm like, that's beautiful. I love them stories. Like the type of work that we do is the type of work that we enjoy the most, the work that we find the most fulfilling is the work that we feel matters. Right? Like when you learn how much your work matters, you view it differently. But like it's hard going to work every day feeling like your work doesn't matter. Like the effort and the labor that you put in, it don't really matter. Like you're alienated from it. That's rough. So, this whole thing is like very fulfilling to me. I know that's random. Y'all out here like, what are you talking about? What's this got to do with meal prep? No, but yeah. So yeah, I appreciate y'all. Y'all don't know. I get messages every day. Hey, I've been doing what you've been I've been doing the stuff you've been talking about on your YouTube channel and it's working. And y'all ask me questions, like y'all ask me questions in my comments on Instagram and whatnot, and then I'll be addressing those questions in these live streams. That's why y'all got to tune into the live streams, because y'all will ask me about stuff in my comments, and I remember y'all. And I'll address it on stream. Another thing I got to address on stream, and I want to take some time to address this a little bit. Edema, right? Edema could be some gnarly stuff. So I want to talk a little bit about what to do about that. All right. Now, edema is an inflammatory response that comes from certain sets of conditions, and it's very important to know what's causing your edema. Is your blood pressure really high? What does the rest of your diet look like, right? Dehydration, excess protein and fat consumption. That's typically the thing that causes people to have edema. There's just way too much acid production in the body. And what happens is you get the edema and then eventually you get the neuropathy, right? So neuropathy is like this ridiculous pain. I got a little water droplet on my glasses. So I got like this little water droplet sitting on my glasses. It's a little tiny water droplet, and I want to get it off because it's distracting me. All right. So like edema and neuropathy are very closely related, and it's usually like there's a lack of hydration and oxygenation inside your cells, and so you get the neuropathy and the edema as a result. So there's a few things that you can do. Number one, increase vitamin K, increase potassium, increase malic acid and citric acid in your diet. So citrus foods, so like tangerines, grapefruit, apples. And what's cool too is like what you can do is you can dice apples and mix that into a leafy green salad with like some pumpkin seed kernels and diced cucumber and things like that. You can have that in a salad. So cucumber, apples, pears, pumpkin seed kernels, hemp seeds, and an abundance of leafy green vegetables. Things like that would really help because those foods in particular contain a lot of citric acid, malic acid, vitamin C, vitamin K, vitamin E, arginine, citrulline, what else? Magnesium, copper, potassium. And all of those things combined is what you need in order to really do a variety of things. Take the stress off your kidneys, cause vascular dilation, improve oxygen absorption, protect smooth muscle of vital organ tissues. Okay. Neutralize and reduce uric acid buildup and intracellular ammonia. Okay. And increase the process of taking acid and converting acids from a solid into a liquid or into a gas and flushing these things out of your body through your lymphatic system, your kidneys, etc. Right? So foods like that. Watermelon. Okay. This right here is a big deal. So if you have like neuropathy and edema, your morning meal, your first morning meal could just be watermelon, and you can just really have at it with the watermelon. I've had people with like, they were definitely afraid to eat fruit because they had kidney disease and doctors told them to be careful, don't eat too much potassium. And I'm like, that's like one of the worst things that you could tell people, because potassium is only problematic if you're like supplementing from it or you're getting it from foods that are not water rich and you're not staying hydrated, right? High levels of potassium are particularly dangerous if your kidneys have failed to the point where you're no longer producing urine. However, if that potassium is accompanied with water and a lot of vitamin C, that can actually increase urine output and actually improve your kidney function. So that can help to eliminate excess nitrogen in the blood. So that improves your blood urine nitrogen, that improves blood sugar, and that ultimately improves your your EGFR, right? And this causes vasodilation, so you get more hydration of your blood, better blood volume. So your fasted blood sugar drops, your insulin sensitivity improves, and therefore your kidneys don't have to work super hard to eliminate excess glucose. Right? So when people say, oh, but isn't there a lot of sugar in watermelon and wouldn't that make the neuropathy and edema worse? No, because of all the reasons I've just stated. There's also something called homocysteine, right? So when you're eating a lot of, let's say, saturated fat and protein in your diet, homocysteine levels go up, uric acid levels go up, and this ultimately puts a strain on your kidneys, causes vascular constriction, and then this is where you start having more edema and neuropathy. So it all goes back to the hydration. So as far as hydrating foods, there's really like two main ways to do it. There's only two, really, to do it through diet. you're either going to have a water-rich diet predominantly made from fruit, or you're going to do like soups and stews with like vegetable broth and things like that, and then having herbal teas. The vegetable broth thing and the herbal tea thing, that combination is more so for like a wintertime strategy if you can't get good fruits. But in the season we're in now, as we're heading deeper into spring and getting into summer, those fruits and whatnot, like watermelon, are really coming into season. So you can really take full advantage of those things during that time period. With the soups and stews and stuff, you have to be cognizant of not adding too much sodium to the soup. Right? Sodium is good, but too much of it, it can be a little damaging. It can be a little problematic. Okay, so that's the thing to note. If you want to get more sodium into your diet, you're better off putting more sea vegetables into your soups and stews, right? So like your sea moss and seaweed and things like that, you can incorporate things like that into your soups and stews. So you can have miso soup and things like this. And it's like a hydrating way of going about it, right? Oh, you said, how do we become a member? There's a link in the description under this video, and it says become a tribe member. And you can join through there. Let me catch up to y'all in these comments. I find gardening therapeutic. Yeah, that's the next thing I got to get on. I got to get like you. I got to get my gardening game on. Yeah, that's right. I got to get my... And we got plenty of space on the balcony and whatnot, so yeah, we gotta get on that. Oh, you said my kitchen is my laboratory? True. I think I hear my rice kind of bubbling a little bit. Have you read the book Vault of Consumable Corruption by Dr. Heather Collins? Why is it censored? Interesting. I'm gonna take a note of that. Hold on. Vault of Consumable Corruption. Man, let me tell you, I'm gonna have to get that in hard copy. I'm gonna have to, because if it's probably, I'm gonna have to look into that. Let's see. Where did you get your watermelon at? I love the smell as well. Yeah, I got this watermelon from Aldi. What would 30 to 38 kilograms of muscle mass equate to in daily protein? How did the calculation? It seems like only 15 grams if I'm working out on a daily basis. No, if you're 30 kilograms of like muscle mass. So okay, where's my phone? So we do a little bit of math here, right? People may ask me a lot about protein. Some people are like, how come you advocate for such low protein? I'm like, look, I like to be economically efficient. So let's see. I'm gonna do the math. Now, if we say if you are 30, did you say 30.38? So let's just round that out. Let's say 30. So 30 kilograms of lean mass, right? That's basically 66 pounds of muscle mass. Now, typically your average man is going to be somewhere around 30 kilograms of muscle mass, right? Half your lean mass is going to be skeletal muscle. So if you have 30 kilograms of like muscle mass on you, like skeletal muscle mass, then pretty much like around your total lean mass is like 60 kilos. So typically what I do is 1 gram of protein to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of lean mass. But generally speaking, 1 gram is enough if your carbs are high enough, because carbohydrates are protein sparing. So basically, if you're like actively trying to build muscle, 60 grams of protein per day generally is enough, at least in my experience. Because the thing is that when people say, well, that's low, and it's like, well, you may think that, but the thing is that all of your macros operate in relation to another macro. People want to oversimplify, like, oh, studies show 1.6 is optimal to maximizing muscle mass. Well, it kind of depends. How many grams of carbs are they eating? And then how frequently are they training? If I'm trying to adequately gain muscle mass, my training sessions are going to be shorter and far and fewer in between. I'm actually going to train less. Right? I'm going to try to basically my training, and I want to use the least amount of energy to trigger a growth response. So I'm doing 1 set per exercise. My workouts would be like 20 to 30 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week. Right? That's generally what I'm doing. If I want to maximize muscle growth, I don't need a lot of protein to do that. Right? My training frequency is not that high and my training volume is not that high. Therefore, muscle damage is going to be a lot lower, so I don't need as much protein. However, if you're training like 5-6 days a week or even 7 days a week, then you're probably going to want more protein in your diet because basically you're just inheriting more muscle damage and you're wearing out your nervous system. Now, my recommendations are specific to my guidelines. Also, the scientific studies that we have available now, it's 1 gram to like 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of lean mass. But the thing is that that's a huge gap, and that largely depends on training age. So if you're a newbie to the gym, like let's say you have like 1 year or a little less than 1 year of training experience, you don't need that much protein. The reason why is because your body is going to be hyper responsive to muscle building. Because it's a new thing, you're very sensitive to it. Now, previously in past live streams, I talked about sensitivity and resistance, meaning the more progress you make in a particular direction, you get diminishing returns. So the more muscle you gain, the harder it is to continue to gain muscle. So the rate of muscle mass increase slows down as you gain more muscle, and it happens exponentially the closer you get to your genetic ceiling. That's number 1, right? Number 2, the more developed your nervous system are because you're more experienced in your training, which means you recruit more muscle fibers. So if you recruit more muscle fibers, you're using more energy to produce stronger contractions and produce greater levels of force. So you're going to be using way more glucose and you're going to be generating way more fatigue, right? This is going to make recovery take a longer period of time as a result, right? And now your chances of having greater muscle damage is increased because motor recruitment is greater. It's a greater effort. Greater effort leads to greater levels of fatigue and muscle fiber damage, right? So you need more resources to compensate. So that's where it would be a good idea to target more of like that 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of lean mass. If you're a newbie, your muscle fiber recruitment is going to be a lot lower and you're going to have a lot less muscle damage. Newbies can't train that hard. You just can't. It's a skill, right? So this is why, like, if you first start lifting and you're a newbie, you're kind of wobbly and shaky. And the reason why is because all this stuff going on here, that's limited muscle fiber recruitment, right? So as you have more muscle fiber engagement, you get greater levels of stability. And don't get me wrong, you can be really advanced and still look like this because of the effort. Right? I look like that sometimes in my training, right? I'm like, right, in certain movements that I'm particularly strong in or not that strong, and I may be more wobbly, plus the effort. So my eccentric phases are a lot slower, therefore it's going to be a lot more challenging on the nervous system, etc. But generally speaking, as a newbie, you can't produce that much effort because your nervous system isn't developed enough. You haven't really tapped into all the stabilizing muscle fibers and all of this type of stuff, right? Training effort is a skill. It's a thing you learn how to do over time. And this is the difference between, newbies and getting newbie gains versus like advanced trainees, where they have to do a whole year of consistent hypertrophic training to gain like 3 pounds or 4 pounds of muscle mass. right? It's very, very marginal returns because you're so close to your genetic potential, right? So there's a lot of nuance in the conversation. It's not just, oh, everybody should just target 1.6. It's like, not necessarily. And then you have to factor in, well, what percentage of your energy is coming from fats versus carbs? If you decrease carbs, increase fats, well, then you may need more protein. And you would get more protein incidentally. If you cut your fats, you increase your carbohydrates. The carbohydrates reduce catabolism. So they're protein sparing. So now you don't need to eat as much protein because you're not breaking down as much protein. Right? And then also, when you increase carbohydrate consumption, myostatin decreases, which increases the rate of muscle protein synthesis and muscle growth. So there's a lot of nuances that factor into this. So when I talk about protein, I'm factoring all of that in. Right? I feel like I was a little long-winded with that response, but I like to be thorough with it. You know what I'm saying? All right. Let's see. Yes, and I and others, I'm sure, thank you for our success and for our journey to wellness. That's right. You out here killing it. That's right. We're gonna get you at peak health. We're gonna be going there. Hey, when you said I missed Saturday because I work weekends, that's all right. I'm gonna be back on this Saturday. Let's see. So edema. So is edema fluid? Yes, edema is fluid. Edema is basically fluid accumulation that acts as a buffer in order to protect your body's infrastructure, particularly your nerves and soft tissues and things like that. It's a defensive mechanism. My man James, what's going on, brother? Awesome content, coach. Sorry, but my bedtime is between 8 and 9, so I end up watching the replays. Hey, no worries. I appreciate you checking in and sounding off. Let's see. So if you get the neuropathy from the edema, does the neuropathy go away? I heard neuropathy is permanent damage. No, neuropathy is not permanent damage. Usually the edema is like a protective mechanism against the neuropathy. Neuropathy is like a radicular pain. It's a pain signal. Edema is like it's an inflammatory response to protect against the nerve damage, right? So there's a whole bunch of hydration that's sent to the area in order to facilitate greater levels of oxygenation and nutrients to that area that's damaged to try to reinforce it, protect it, and things like this. That's what the edema is for. It's to rush resources and protection to that area, right? It's like if you get bust upside the head and you get a lump, right? It's the same thing. So you don't get neuropathy from edema, right? Typically you get the edema and then that's a protection against the neuropathy, right? But of course the edema, if it's not adequately protecting against the damage, well then the neuropathy starts to build up and it becomes more and more intense over time. Right? And then the edema can't really come down because the inflammation in the situation hasn't been rectified yet. Nicole Richey, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Anita been killing the game. Big shout out to you, Anita, and all your successes so far. You said, so what's good for assisting your lymphatic system? Yoga, hydration, walking, dynamic mobility exercises. There's a few things. By the way, I am going to be releasing soon for Tribe members the Tribe Flow mobility guide. All right, so I'm gonna have like daily mobility. It's basically a daily mobility training routine. So every day you take like 15, 20 minutes to work on improving your mobility and your movement hygiene. right? So that'll be like a video series and whatnot, talking through all of that, the morning routine with the mobility and everything. So how to improve your ankle mobility, your hip mobility, knees, how to release lower back pain, improve your hip mobility. I said hip mobility already. Improve posture, shoulder mobility, all of this type of stuff, right? So that's a video series that I'm in the process of putting together also. All right. Field Malik, what's going on? New to the channel here. Are you familiar with sickle cell? And what foods would you recommend? Any fruits or foods to fight pain episodes? Yes. I haven't had enough people with sickle cell, but I have had a lot of success with sickle cell from people who I have had. Did I say that right? Does that make sense the way that I said that? I feel like I said that kind of clumsily. I've had a lot of success with people with sickle cell. I haven't had enough people with sickle cell. It hasn't been, and maybe that's because I don't make enough content addressing sickle cell. I'm looking for a particular measurement of bag. 1 gallon bag. There we go. Okay. All right. Yeah, so I haven't had enough people. I'd like to have more people with sickle cell, but I've had a lot of success with it. Watermelon is a really good food for people with sickle cell. Grapes is another one. If you have sickle cell is an interesting thing because you have like you have misshapen blood cells. So what happens is your blood cells are like, they're shaped in a way that's not optimal for like oxygen absorption and things like this, right? So the thing, and I don't particularly know why this works, I just know that it does work. When you have a diet that is more rich in things like citrulline, copper, iron, vitamin C, chlorophyll, magnesium, that typically works a lot better, right? You want to optimize your diet for blood oxygenation and in the reduction of inflammation, right? That's generally what the issue is. And so I've had a lot of success following that strategy. So like you can color code your diet. So I would say when you have a lot of foods that are deep red, green, and violet colors, those are like your ideal foods, or fruits, I should say, right? Deep green, purplish, and even red leafy greens. So watercress, like your leafy greens are like really good too also. So like your chard, your red butter lettuce, your kale, like deep, vibrant greens and reds. Cucumber, really, really good for sickle cell. Watermelon, red grapes, green grapes also, but like deep red grapes, black grapes, blueberries also, really, really good. These are the things generally that I've had a lot of success with as far as sickle cell is concerned. Generally speaking, people with blood disorders do very well on like a high copper diet. And a high raw fruitarian diet pretty much is like a very copper rich diet. And copper is really, really important for nervous system protection, development, and the health of your blood. Right? So you need an abundance of copper, vitamin C, and iron in order to keep up your hemoglobin. Right? So in order to get your iron levels and your hemoglobin up, getting that abundance of vitamin C, chlorophyll, iron, and copper, right? Those are your blood builders. And the chlorophyll essentially you get from like your leafy green vegetables and also sea moss, sea vegetables in general. So I would do sea moss, actually. Sea moss is a really good blood builder. Sea moss, seaweed, Anything that's like really deeply chlorophyll rich. I think also like an algae, like an algae supplement too. Right? So like chlorella. What else? What's the other one? Chlorella, spirulina. Those are good also. Your sea moss. Kiwis. Kiwis is another good one too. And also strawberries. Right? But you want to maximize blood oxygenation. Dehydration is your worst nightmare. Whatever you do with sickle cell, I'm getting water all over me. Look at that. The watermelon spitting at me. Whatever you do, do not get dehydrated. Okay? Water-rich foods. Can't tell you how important it is. You experience your worst crisis during periods of dehydration. I got to get to my final meal, but I want to get into this chlorophyll. I mean, not chlorophyll. I got to get this watermelon packed up. I'm gonna have so much watermelon tomorrow morning. Oh my God, I'm looking forward. My morning tomorrow. I'm gonna go to bed tonight fantasizing about eating watermelon tomorrow. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't get it. When you get like a good watermelon, because sometimes you can get a bad watermelon. You can get a watermelon that's kind of whack. When you get a good watermelon, it's sweet, it's watery, it's just, oh, beautiful color and everything like that, a good texture. Oh, you don't understand. It's not mushy. It's not like real mild, like no taste. When you get like a good watermelon, oh man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Those of you who are like watermelon, like connoisseurs, y'all just love watermelon. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You get like a good watermelon. It's like, oh yeah, yes, yes. Let me tell you something. If you want to get vascular, all right, you want to get some popping veins. That's more so a thing for fellas. Women don't really particularly want to get masculine. But as a guy, you want your veins popping. You want them crazy superhero veins. Watermelon. It's one of them foods. Like my veins right now look crazy. I like Google Maps. Right? You get your forearms look like Google Maps. All type of highways and whatnot on your forearms. You get veins in your neck, your veins in your arms. I got veins in my shoulders. Veins popping out of my shoulders. I want veins popping out of my quadriceps. That's what I want. I want leg veins. Veiny legs. Y'all ladies probably hearing this. I'm like, ew, you want veiny legs? That's too much. Ew. Tell you. Having good blood flow, you understand, that's everything. You got good blood flow? Let me tell you something. That's where it's at. You be virile. You be out here ambitious. You be waking up being super aggressive towards the day. Just dominate. All we do is succeed. Constantly. We win all day, every day. That's the internal dialogue when you got good blood flow. Just be breathing in all deep. All right. It's not all going to fit in this bag. That's not, got this big old chunk that's not going to fit. So this is what we're going to do. Can I? I gotta finagle things. Am I gonna be greedy? Am I gonna do it? I gotta remove pieces. Come on now. I don't want to crunch. I don't want to smash down on my watermelon. All right. Yeah. All right, so now we got the little mini bag of the watermelon. This is the to-go bag. Little mini. This is the kids bag of the watermelon. This is the watermelon that you pack for your baby when you go to the park. This is your baby watermelon bag, right? So when you take like a toddler or a little kid to the park, this is what you pack for them right here. That's what you give them. When your little kid got sugar cravings, they want candy, this is what you do right here. If I had a kid, my kid would be eating so much fruit and watermelon and stuff. You ever see like a little baby munch down on some watermelon? You see how their eyes light up? You ever see that look? It's the cutest thing ever. You see them big old eyes light up? Ooh, what's this? And you know, they're like brand new, like a brand new baby. They're like brand new, right? They got an empty hard drive going on, right? They don't have no downloads, no updates, right? They're on factory settings. That baby blank, right? It's brand new. There were no apps installed on that baby. Right? No apps installed, no plugins, no nothing, just a blank slate. And then they just get watermelon. They just get an upload, or they just get a download of watermelon. Ooh! You change that child's life. You set that child up for success. Right out the gate with some watermelon. I'm soaking my mung beans, peas, and alfalfa to sprout them. There you go. The mung beans. Oh, this is a good question, right? What do you recommend for AFib? AFib is like a very tricky thing because it's random. You can improve it, like, because like AFib is one of these things, right? Where you could just be sitting there chilling, and then all of a sudden your nervous system just decides to start doing it out of nowhere. And you just, your body's doing that, and like you just sitting on the couch chilling, and your body's doing this. You're just like, what the hell? Out of nowhere, right? And it's largely like a nervous system thing. Your diet can help to prime your nervous system, but one thing, because I've had like what, I think 3 people with AFib. It's not that common, but I've had it before. We made improvements with it. And one thing I noticed is that when you get better sleep quality, when you get better sleep quality and better hydration, that tends to work better with it. Dehydration tends to make it go out of whack and overtraining. Out of there was 3 people, but like 2 of them were like these hardcore endurance athletes, right? One of them, they would run marathons, and the other one would do like long distance bike riding, right? So he would bike for like 100 miles, to several hundred miles or whatever. He would just, like a car, he would pedal into another state. This man was a machine, right? And didn't really have particularly any health issues or anything like that. He was an in-shape guy. He's really in shape. I mean, this guy's VO2 was crazy. But he would have AFib. And as we reduced the protein intake, we increased the carbohydrate intake, we increased his carbs, and that typically improved everything. So it was like, well, I guess just increasing his carbs, because if he would cut his carbs or skip a meal or something, it would get worse. If he ate like meat and increased his protein, it would get worse. And when he would cut the meat out, increase his carbs, increase his fruit intake, it would get better. So it was like, well, damn. And that would happen with him, and it would happen with all three. Earlier bedtime, more carbohydrates, more hydration. And then the supplementation with magnesium at night. So like magnesium malate. Not magnesium malate, magnesium glycinate before bed at night. Y'all look at me like, yeah, he putting his fingers all in his mouth and stuff. I can eat all day, you know what I'm saying? I can't cut my food intake. I don't have the will to do that. I'd rather just not eat, because if I start eating, I'm just gonna if I break my fast, I just start eating, forget about it. I'm just gonna be eating. I'm just gonna be putting stuff in my mouth. But what's funny is that generally anything that improves your nervous system, if you want to like heal your nervous system, there's like two main things that you need to do. Hydration, abundance of electrolytes, carb up, and go to bed. Go to bed earlier. Right? Hydration, electrolytes, carb up, good sleep. I mean, it really boils down to that pretty much. When you start going crazy trying to maximize protein intake and all of this, that's when things start going sideways. Right? So for me, and I guess I'm biased against the whole protein thing, is because I work with chronic illness a lot. So I view everything through the lens of reversing chronic illness. So even my approach to like fitness, I factor in chronic illness. Right? I'm not interested in sacrificing health in the pursuit of getting a little extra muscle. I'm not really a fan of doing that. And I don't feel as though people have to. Right? As long as you train and you recover, you get in enough energy. Let me show y'all what I'm doing. I got my back turned all the time. As long as you have enough energy, this is red lentil sauce. So I'm putting this in the pot to heat it up. I don't really use the microwave a lot. I don't like using the. I'm a microwave hater, to be honest. I be hating on the microwave because you'll warm something up in the microwave, and the plate or the bowl that you heat the food up in be hot as hell, and then the food be cold. So I'm a hater of microwaves. I'm a hater. Oh, what was that? We had a blooper on set. All right. But yeah, I'm a hater on microwaves because of that. All right, so we'll put that rice to the side. Put a lid on that. So now with this in the pot, so I'm going to warm this up in the pot on a low heat. Just like that. Let me see if I got some protein. I'm going to get to y'all in the comments in a second. Check them comments, but first, where's it at? I may not have. I could have sworn I had more tofu in here. All right, well, I guess I don't. All right, well, I don't have. I ain't got no more tofu, but I do got this bag of pre-chopped onions. So I prep diced onion, so I'm gonna have some of that. I'm actually gonna do some pre-diced. I'm gonna do like a handful of onion, and I guess I'm gonna do some pre-diced bell pepper. Look at that! I gotta get some more. I like putting tofu in this, but I don't have any. A lot of things I put in my diet just simply because I like it. All right, so let's see. Tofu, though, it's actually a good source of magnesium, a good source of zinc and calcium. So I'm getting back into a little bit more of a tofu phase. Oh, I found another mango. Look at that. You see? Look at that. It was underneath stuff. So you got to be careful. You don't want to bury your mangoes and then they go bad. All right, let's see. What would be the best approach for severe leaky gut? Oh, I appreciate y'all asking me about leaky gut. Severe leaky gut. What would be the best approach? There's always answers. I pretty much give the same kind of set of answers when it comes to leaky gut. So it's going to be, if as far as diet is concerned, MMB. That right there is first and foremost. MMB. Okay. Mangoes, melons, and bananas. I got to get that out. Okay. Let me tell you something. Melons, mangoes, and bananas typically are the easiest foods on your diet, on your gut. People tend to, sometimes people will have issues with bananas. Sometimes. And that's more of like, some people just have weird issues with that. So bananas is kind of iffy. But generally speaking, I would say MMB. As far as probiotic foods, at the top of my list is going to be coconut yogurt. Right? So coconut yogurt, and then you pair that with things like hemp seeds or chia seeds or flax seeds with like berries. Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries. Strawberries, kinda, it may be a bit rough on the gut. So strawberries kinda, maybe a little too much fiber, right? So strawberries may be kind of rough. Blueberries are the easiest. I've never really ever had people with gut health issues have a problem with blueberries or raspberries. Blackberries, not really, but sometimes kinda. Strawberries, yeah. And people will have like strawberry allergies too. Like people will have food sensitivities to strawberries. Apples could be good on your gut too because of the apple pectin, but I don't know. It's very common for people with leaky gut to have adverse reactions to apples. So I don't know if I would put apples in the diet. I'd put apple juice maybe, like I would juice apple, right? Maybe like apple pudding. I mean, not apple pudding. What's that called? Apple sauce, right? So that you can also do apple stew. If you want that apple pectin in your diet, don't eat the apple raw. I would say to do like an apple stew. So I would cook the apple actually, and that may be easier on your gut. Miso soup. I would definitely put miso soup up in there. And you can do miso soup, and you can add in like 4 ounces of tofu. Don't go too crazy with it. The high protein foods, I wouldn't really particularly go too crazy with that. But the tofu is a good food for leaky gut because of the natural glutamine in it. Glutamine is needed in order to repair your gut lining, right? Sprouts, sprouted lentils, sprouted mung beans. Those could be really good too if you have issues with tofu. So I would do sprouted mung beans or sprouted green lentils, but I would eat them sparingly. So I would probably do like around either 2 to 4 ounces at a time. What else? Tender leafy greens. I wouldn't do like the real hard stuff. Broccoli could be a little too much. Broccoli is very rich in sulfur. It's very high in protein. So you get real gassy and bloated. Broccoli could potentially cause you a lot of issues. High protein foods for people with leaky gut, it could be a bit too much. Foods with high sulfur, it could be a bit rough. So I would go with more tender leafy greens. Chard, kale, spinach, watercress, arugula, romaine, red butter lettuce, things like this. What else? Kiwis, if you don't have a food sensitivity to it. Getting an abundance of vitamin C and vitamin K in your diet, really big deal. So like red grapes, black grapes, cucumber, blueberries, blackberries, good sources of vitamin K. Cucumber, good source of vitamin K. And then your leafy green vegetables, right? That coconut yogurt bowl that I mentioned earlier, I would make that more of like a religious habit. That could be like a daily thing. Now, also your leaky gut issues. The approach for people who have to lose a lot of weight versus the people who are underweight is a bit of a different thing. Typically, people with leaky gut issues, like real bad leaky gut issues, are struggling to maintain a healthy weight and are very underweight because food is so painful. That's a thing I've had a lot of experience with. So the food recommendations that I'm making now is what I've had the most success with people with gut health issues. Supplementation, vitamin D in low dosages of glutamine that you can increase over time. Vitamin D combined with glutamine is really good for repairing your gut lining. Vitamin D is the substrate or the foundation for the development of stem cells. And then your body uses the stem cells and converts them into the cells needed to repair your gut lining. The glutamine is the protein or is the amino acid that is used to make the protein that your gut lining is made out of, right? So particularly referring to things like your intestinal endothelium, your gut blood barrier, right? So your foods typically should repair your gut blood barrier. They should repopulate your gut microbiome, and they should kill harmful bacteria and parasites. So this is where like your herbal teas are really important for settling your gut and easing pain and discomfort. So at the top of my list is basil tea, also known as Tulsi tea, ginger turmeric, which is really good for reducing inflammation. And those things are antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral, right? Peppermint helps your gut to relax. So what happens is peppermint is an antispasmodic, so is ginger, so is cinnamon. Cinnamon tea is really good for on your gut, especially like in the morning. So like in the mornings, you can prime your gut for breakfast with cinnamon tea. Cinnamon tea is antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, and it helps to relax your gut and also improves insulin sensitivity so your blood sugar is better. The basil tea I would do more so like towards the evening or later meal, so probably like a lunch or dinner. I would do raw all day until the evening and then have like a savory meal in the evening. However, there's some things that you can do. Pineapple, right? So By the way, I got to show y'all this. I got to brag. Yo, look at this pineapple. Look at this. Look at this brilliant pineapple. Look at this. Look how crazy this looks. Can you believe the earth grows food that look like this? This is crazy. This is intelligent design. Look at this. It's a work of art. It's freaking crazy. Look at that. Like an alien. This looks like an alien egg with a hairdo. It's crazy. 8 to 12 ounces of pineapple. Maybe 12 ounces is a bit too much. I want to say 6 to 8 ounces of pineapple before your savory meal. You can alternate between pineapple and papaya. Papaya is a bit more mild, so it's easier to get down. So basically papaya and pineapple are good foods for digestive enzymes. You could experience a lot of gas and bloating because you don't have enough stomach acid and enough digestive enzymes. The pineapple and the papaya help to increase digestive enzymes and stomach acid, right? Hydrochloric acid, or HCl, right? Now, the interesting thing is when people have leaky gut, it's not just leaky gut in a vacuum. It's accompanied with other things. Insulin resistance, fatty liver disease, bacterial infection that was facilitated by antibiotics. So several rounds of antibiotics. You used an antibiotic to fight off an infection, and then you had to do a second round because the infection came back, right? Avoid antibiotics like the plague. Indefinitely do not do a second round. That's a controversial statement a little bit, but I say that because that second round of antibiotics wrecks your gut big time. And you could be struggling for the next several years to repair it. Antibiotics is no joke, okay? If you want to nuke your gut, antibiotics, okay? It's ruthless. Antibiotics basically obliterate your gut, okay? Your gut microbiome. Ruthlessly so. I messed up a little bit. I didn't put my kale in here. So I got to add in some of this kale here. Is there an open bag? Let me see. Oh, there's a pack of tofu. Oh, here we go. That's what I'm talking about. We got it, y'all. We're back in business. We got it. I don't want to add too many things though, because I'm putting it on top of the rice. So I don't want to do too much. I get greedy, y'all. I'll be trying to put everything in a single meal. Y'all don't know. Stacks on stacks. I kind of want to put like mushrooms in here too, but I'm like, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that. I could, but I'm like, I ain't gonna do that. I would put the mushrooms in if I wasn't having the rice. And y'all see me on camera do that before, but I'm like, yeah, that's so much fiber. I'll be so full. Because you adding that kale on top? Oh, Lord. My gut be like, chill, playboy. So yeah. I'm removing the stems this time. Oops. I'm removing the stems this time. I don't like chewing on the stems from the kale. I don't like the stems in the kale. It's this hard, crunchy, tubular thing out of nowhere. It's a nuisance to me. Unless that's a texture thing. I don't like it. You're just chewing your food and then out of nowhere it's this hard thing. I'd rather eat the stem by itself. I don't want it being snuck into my meal. I don't like that. Because the only thing in here that's hard. I feel like this is a little extra labor, but for the kale, it's kind of worth it. A lot of people, they got beef with kale because of the hardness. If y'all are tuning into the stream, y'all gonna want to pay attention to this because this is what I do. This is gonna make your kale a lot more bearable. Also, if you got leaky gut and you want to add leafy green vegetables like kale into your diet, but the kale is like real cruciferous, so it could be a little rough on your gut, I'm going to show you how to make it a little bit easier to deal with. All right. So you get rid of the stems. Okay. All the nutrients is in the leaf. So get rid of the stem. All right. This may be a little laborious. I don't mind putting my time into this though, because this is important. All right. These leafy green vegetables, this is important. Okay. Y'all don't understand that chlorophyll. Y'all don't know chlorophyll. I got to talk more about chlorophyll. When people be super obsessed over eating leafy green vegetables in a diet and they're super obsessed over green juices, it's because this is like crack. When you get more chlorophyll in your diet and you experience that heightened level of oxygen uptake in your blood and how it makes you feel, you get enough chlorophyll in your diet, your colors look more vivid. Your vision gets better. I need more of that too because I'm wearing the glasses. But I don't know if I could fix my vision though, because I have astigmatism. This is a bit different. I have a misshapen pupil. So that's why I wear glasses. I don't wear them outside though. I only wear them to like read and stuff like that. But I don't wear them when I'm driving, and I don't wear them when I'm just walking around outside or just living my life. So pretty much whenever I leave the house, I don't bring my glasses with me. But I got astigmatism. I never walk around outside wearing my glasses. All right, so I got rid of all the stems. So now we're gonna squeeze. We're gonna squeeze now. All right, so the kale starts to soften up and it becomes more moist. So as the cell wall breaks up and they get more moist, you can feel the nutrients start to be released from the leaves. And the smell, this smell smells like somebody just cut the grass in here. It's not like the watermelon. It's a different kind of smell. It's a little different. But this smell is everything. I would want the house to smell like this all day. This smell, I understand. This is the smell. I'm particular about smells. Oh, okay. And now I'm just gonna cut a little bit. So it's good to break down the leaves so it's easier on your gut. You release more of that chlorophyll. And this makes it easier on your gut. So you can really shred it up. And it's easier on your gut. Because kale, kale a little rough. It's like purple cabbage. It's a little rough. This looks beautiful in this pot too. Because it's like this creamy orange and then this deep green. Let's see if I can show y'all. So y'all can see that? I don't want to spill nothing, but y'all see that? I don't want to spill on the laptop. But yeah. So that's it right there. So we just stir that around in there. I need one of those secondary cameras that point down, that will point straight down to the cutting board. I'm gonna see if I can do that. I'm gonna set up another camera. I need to get some money though. All right? I need to make some money to do that. That's a little bit of an investment. But that'll enhance the streams where y'all get to see, like, you know, right on the cutting board. So we mix all of this in here. All right. Ooh, that smell. I smell that chili in there. The peppers. The paprika. Ooh. All right. I said I wasn't going to have y'all up all night. Somebody said earlier today, they said, we're going to be up till 9 o'clock. Oh, it's already going on 9 o'clock too. I always do this. I feel the time just running. Let's see. Do I advise any grains? I'm like way behind on the comments. Let me catch up with y'all. Do you advise any grains? Yeah, like right now I'm eating basmati rice. Oh, look at this. My lady got these. She got these sweet potatoes. I gotta bake these up. She got these beautiful white sweet potatoes. So I'm gonna bake these up and I'm gonna just eat it straight up. This beta carotene, folate. This is like a B vitamin supplement, by the way. These potatoes, this is a B vitamin supplement right here. If you want an abundance of copper, manganese, magnesium, B vitamins, sweet potato. It's legit. And then I also gotta prep this butternut squash. Okay, this right here. Legit. I got an acorn squash over there too. So I got some things that I'm gonna have to do that probably on another stream. I might do that Thursday or Saturday. I gotta see. No, so this Thursday for the member exclusive live stream, we went step by step calculating macros. We did calculating calories and macros. We went over meal structure and whatnot. So we did live meal planning where we opened up Chronometer and we went step by step on each. All right. Generally speaking, I don't do this because what I do, I don't put this in there straight out because I like to leave it in the fridge to sit first so I can get more firm. But it's all good. I'll put the other half in. I'm going to do half of the tofu and I'm going to throw that in the pot. So I'm going to dump that in there. You see how much of a minimalist I am? I have the one knife that I do everything with. I'm a minimalist for real. Okay, I need just enough. All right, so I'm gonna leave this to cook a little bit more in the pot. Let that tofu cook down a little bit in there. So put that on a low heat. And that's going over the rice. And now I'm gonna put that in the container. All right, let's see. trying to finish up watching, but getting tired and gotta go do my meditation, which is my medication. Hey, do you think I'm over here running all along? My man Ricardo, what's going on? Good to see you in here. That's right, the pineapple's like an alien egg with a hairdo. Oh, I took 2 rounds of antibiotics for 2 root canals and an extraction. Oh, yeah, that's right. We got to tighten up on that gut health. We got to get it back. Artificial commentator, commenter. I found my people. What's going on? Welcome to the stream. Good to see you in here. Hey guys, quick question. Why isn't there any big bodybuilders that are fruitarian? At least none that I know of. Yeah, I mean, there's no incentive for it, right? Because if everybody in bodybuilding assumes that you need to have like a diet that's like a tremendous amount of protein, why would they do a fruitarian diet? Right? I mean, if you're like a serious bodybuilder and you're like, look, I just want to get big as possible. I just want to gain as much muscle mass as possible. Right? And when you say big bodybuilder, I assume you mean like a bodybuilder is probably like taking steroids and stuff. Well, I mean, if you're at that level, why would you do a fruitarian diet? Right? I mean, that's the truth. It's not a cultural norm. So you live in a society that's like hyper obsessive with protein consumption. You're not going to be a person who's obsessed with getting as big as possible and eating as much protein as possible and then do a fruitarian diet. That's not going to happen. So that's why it's not really that popular. I put these paper towels in here to suck up the extra water from the tofu. This isn't like a particularly great use of the paper towels, I feel like, but if y'all got a better idea to do it, because when you get like the excess water out of it, it helps it in the fridge, it helps it to kind of thicken up a little bit. So it takes on a better texture. It takes on more of a meaty texture. So that's why I do it. But if y'all have like a better alternative, you're like, ew, don't do that. And yeah, definitely drop it in the comments. Let me know a better way of doing it. All right, let me catch up with y'all right quick. I'm gonna have to eat off camera because I can't have y'all on here 10 o'clock at night. But I'm gonna take the first bites with y'all though. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take the first bites with y'all. All right. What they said? Easy Butterfly, what's going on? Welcome back to the stream. Good to see you in here. Hi, how are you? Is this Rihanna? I remember you. My mom says to send her a plate. Yeah, tell your mom I said hello. That's right, I remember you. You said the banjo is giving me life. So, you know, we create a whole vibe in here. Oh, Tori Washington is a fruitarian bodybuilder. True. That's right. My man, Tori Washington. I met him in person at the Black Vegan Fest in New York one time. Is there a nutritional difference between yams and sweet potato? Slight differences, not like huge. They're more similar than different, I would say. Let's see. I was just gonna say Tory, but I wasn't sure if he was a fruitarian or just vegan. Yeah, I think he's more of a fruitarian style bodybuilder. I don't know if he calls himself that, but from what it looks like, you know, he's definitely hitting the fruits pretty big. Have you ever counted calories? Yeah, I do. I like to, because I like data. I like to count. I count everything. I don't really count calories much in my own personal diet now much anymore. But when I get dialed in, and if I'm real locked into achieving a particular result, and yeah, that's when I would count more. Scott Bernard. Oh, that's right. Scott Bernard is another fruitarian bodybuilder. True. Yeah, Scott. What is it? Is it Scott Bernard or Scott Bernhard? I thought it was Scott Bernhard. Yeah, he's in phenomenal shape too. He's real lean and everything. Oh, you say what, you mean to say he's not full fruitarian? Yeah. I mean, I'm not full fruitarian either, right? I eat other foods besides fruits, but Have you tried freezing the tofu and then thawing it before cooking? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. That's right, Miss Cali girl, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Yes, ma'am. Let's see. Is it I'm Mexican and would totally want to go Black Vegan Fest? I love anything vegan. Hey, big shout out. I mean, everybody's welcome at the Black Vegan Fest as far as I know. My understanding is Black Vegan Fest is basically just hosted by, Black vegans. So it's a festival hosted by Black vegans. But yeah, everybody's welcome. Come through. Mm-hmm. Well, you said yams have more starch than sweet potatoes. Yeah, I could see that. I don't know how much more. I don't know how much. Oh, here we go. Ted Carr. That's right. Ted, I appreciate y'all reminding me. That's right, Ted Carr. Actually, I think I was supposed to I got to get in touch with Ted Carr. I'm not sure if I was supposed to go on his podcast or something like that, or I got to reach out to him. He had some kind of thing going on. But yeah, my man Ted. I think Ted is 100% strict, straight up raw fruitarian. he hardcore. I like eating tofu and lentils and all of that. I'm not that hardcore. I'm a bit of a normie. I'm more mainstream. You know what I'm saying? I'm more mainstream. If you're looking to do more of a fruitarian diet, but you don't feel comfortable doing anything too hardcore, you want to kind of ease into it. That's more so my thing. The majority of the food is fruitarian, but it's not hardcore. You can't eat anything unless it's a fruit. I don't do all of that. I'm not quite there. All right, here it is. Here it is, y'all. Hold on a second. Let me center this on the board. Hold on. This is it, y'all. You know how we do. I gotta be careful not to spill anything, because this ain't big enough, this container. Yeah. This is the meal, all right? This is the meal of champions, all right? This is the evening meal, right? This is the meal, the savory meal that we wait all day for. We look forward to all day. This is it right here. What's crazy is after having a meal like this, and then right before you go to bed, you have a mango, or you have some grapes, or some tangerines or something before you go to bed. It's a little hydrating thing. It's so satisfying. I'm doing a better job, by the way, of adding testimonials on the site. So I'm going to be documenting, getting tribe members to submit their testimony. I want to have hundreds of testimonials on the site. So for those of you who are tribe members, you want to send that over, DM me, and we get you featured on the site. We get your pickup, quick statement, and we get you on there. By the way, for those of you in the 12-week mentorship, you know who you are. Get on the schedule for the week. Make sure you locked in. Stay consistent. All right. It's because the schedule kind of filling up. You know what I'm saying? So don't get shut out. Lock in your spot for our weekly calls. All right, here we go. I got to get like a bigger container. Oh. This right here. It's like eating out at a restaurant. Mm. 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 This right here is a kick in the mouth. This is all that. Oh. My overnight oats in a jar. This is chocolate peanut butter overnight oat pudding in a jar. I can go out to the woods, walk through the woods, sit at the creek, watch the water rushing past and the ducks swimming, and eat my chocolate overnight oats while enjoying the view. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do tomorrow morning. It's the spice of life, y'all. So yeah, that's the spice of life. That's how we do. All right. Well, you know what? I already kept y'all on for 2 hours and 10 minutes. So I'm gonna let y'all get to bed. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody tuning in. Hit the like button on the way out. Links are in the description if you want to book a call with me. You want to become a tribe member. You want to join the newsletter. The links in the description for all those things and below this video. All right. So having said that, let me see. Yep. So having said that, folks, I appreciate y'all. And I will see y'all on the next Monday Night Live, next Monday Night Raw. And for those of you who are tribe members, I will catch y'all Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, and Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Y'all take care. Have a good one.